Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Actually, it's Becky Brown, and I am with Dr. Jill Hubbard in California and Dr. Ron Archer here in Indiana. Hey. I am so excited that you all are with us. We're answering your calls today. And, it's interesting because today is Thursday. And, one of the things that we do here at New Life is we celebrate by saying Thankful Thursday. And we love to connect with people.
Amen.
And we love to express our gratitude. And one of the things I'm always thankful for is so much of the great resources that we have here at New Life, such as our tip sheet library. You could go to newlife.com and look up lots of different topics and you can find tip sheets. But today, I talked about this last week, and we have one that's the 20 Scriptural Reasons to Never Give Up by Steve. And so if you want to get a copy of that, you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and we'll send that to you free. But it's just that reminder of how God's Word just encourages us in our daily life. And I know, Jill, you're a woman of the Word. And do you have a favorite verse that you kind of, call to mind when you're struggling with, something that you just want to give up on?
Well, James 1 is one of my favorite passages, when all kinds of various trials and temptations crowd into our lives. Dear brothers, don't resent them as intruders, but welcome them as friends. And on it goes, right? And I love that because, we hit a lot of really difficult times in life.
Yes.
And so, that's a good reminder that we don't want to waver, that God's building our character and that we need to stand strong in Him.
I love that. Ron, how about you?
I love number 10 on Steve's list here. It said, God is for me, Romans 8:31. What can we say about such wonderful things as these? If God is for us, who can ever be against us?
I love that. I love that.
Okay, I want that sheet.
Oh, it should be in front of you. But you know what? You can call us. You can call us, Jill, at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we'll give you a copy of it. One of my favorite verses is 1 John 3:1. How great the love the Father has lavished on us that we should be called children of God, for that is what we are. And I know that some of our listeners are struggling with who they are. And what is with all that's going on in the world. I know we're so tired of hearing of pandemic and politics and all the things, but this is our reality right now that we're struggling. And a couple of the things that affect us the most are anxiety and isolation. And many of us are dealing with that. We're also dealing with the fact that we're in this kind of waiting period where we don't know when things are going to change. We keep anticipating. But, I've learned a few things this year during COVID. COVID has been a clarifying time for so many people.
Yes.
And I wonder, I don't know if that's been the case for you guys, but it's literally taken a lot of choices out of the mix.
Yes.
And it's
yes.
You're simplified
kind of
things,
left
clarified
with
things.
Right.
The basics.
And I know that there's so many people that are struggling with the fact that, they want to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is control is an illusion.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And we have to fight that illusion with reality all the time. And so it's not always going to be the way that you think it's going to be. But what is the truth? God loves us, God is for us, and He has a plan for us.
Amen.
And so even if you don't know if you're supposed to wear a mask in a building or what your temperature is, just know that God is for you and He has a plan for you. We're going to be taking some calls and answering some questions and encouraging some folks along the way. And I just want to, since it's Thankful Thursday, thank you to all the listeners that listen.
Oh, God bless you.
You can watch us on YouTube on our New Life Ministries page, and if you would subscribe to it and follow and put that alert so that when it comes on, you'll know. You can also share the news with your friends about New Life. It could make all the difference in the world. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Sheila Walsh. Do you find yourself at the end of this year just worn out, Perhaps you find yourself so weary you don't know how to move forward. I want to invite you to a very special, unique one-day event on December the 5th called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. It will be my privilege to teach the sessions on the Bible. I want you to understand that the strength you're looking for, the peace that you're looking for, the hope you're looking for is found in the strength of the Word of God, the living Word of God. So please, will you join us on December the 5th? You simply have to call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Psalm 34 tells us the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Join us. Let's move into a new year with new strength in Jesus.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are so glad you're with us, and we are taking your calls. We are going to start today with Eve, who is calling from Atlanta, Georgia. She listens on Sirius XM 131. Hi, Eve. I'm so glad you called. How can we help you today?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very good.
Ma'am.
Okay. I straight to the question point. Appreciate your listening. Is it possible for God to put around someone's heart protection of no emotion towards people? Obviously, that's not applying right now.
Right.
I'm like crying, but I'm known as just frankly put, I'm known as the person in the family that's the sweet, sensitive peacemaker. You know, always talking about Jesus and stuff, and all of a sudden there's an onslaught. I don't know if it's because of the year, people are stressed, but they would even say unfair hate has been cast upon me and unjustified, and I've done nothing wrong, and so normally I could be crushed by it, but I'm praying to God, why 95% of the time I'm cold, and I'm like, Lord, why am I not feeling the love? Because I always pray for Jesus to give me the love toward people that he has toward his children. I'm not God, but I pray for it. But there's a coldness, and I'm like, I don't care if I ever see him again, be quite frank. And it's new to me. It's new. And my small group says these are boundaries, and maybe he's protecting my heart because otherwise I'd be shattered. But that is I've been praying for months, and normally I get answers right away. I'm blessed by them, but that's my genuine question. I don't know if he does that, or if it's Satan.
Good question.
So I have a thought here. One of the things we therapists try to tune into is when we have a reaction that is different than our norm. So in the face, most therapists are and pastors are pretty compassionate people. So when somebody is sharing with me and maybe they're crying and I'm not feeling compassion, I know that there's something else going on, right? So that my own reaction tells me something and gives me information about what's truly happening here. And Eve, I don't know if I tracked with you completely, but it sounds like people are saying things to you that are different than how they normally respond to you. And things that are that actually are hurtful. Is that am I tracking right with that? Okay. And
yes, there's definitely yes.
And so here you're the sweet, sensitive peacemaker in the family. I wonder if you're a bit of a people pleaser, but everybody has their limits. And to have people kind of describe you in ways that is kind of like a not me experience, I think you're having a reaction to that because clearly you are a feeling person. So this coldness that you're feeling, I think is a protest to the fact that this doesn't feel right, that you're not in agreement with these people, and this isn't how you like to be seen, but I think it's something that is important for you to explore and dig into more.
Can I ask a clarifying question, Eve? You mentioned that normally you are very tender to other people. And these people that have been offensive to you, you literally have been able to cut it off. And that's what's disturbing to you. Is that correct?
Yes, it's disturbing what I feel in my heart.
Right. Right. Because normally you have a lot of love going towards them and you are just done with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the tears are coming from.
Right.
And
See, it's not lack of feeling, though.
Right. The tears are good,
Right.
Eve. Your heart is broken over something, and without knowing all the details, I don't know that God hardens our heart or protects our heart that way. I'm not quite sure about that. But I do think that the Holy Spirit can minister to us in that way, that, there's some wisdom and discernment. But Ron, I would love to hear what the preacher in the room has to say about this.
It reminds me of the story of Elijah. Right, he is battling the prophets of Baal, and it's a victory. It's a great victory, and he overcomes them all. And he comes down to the valley, and he gets a text message from Jezebel. Says, "If you're not out of my town by midnight, what you did to them, I'm gonna do to you." Now, he just had a big victory. What did he do? He picked up his skirt and ran and ran and ran, and he got to the edge of the creek, and he told God, "Kill me. I am no better than my ancestors." And people ask, well, how did that happen? Fatigue, emotional fatigue. After all that he had done to defeat these false prophets, nothing had changed. She was still queen. She was still powerful. She was still threatening. And he was just wiped out. And sometimes we change because we are at the end of our rope and we're tired and we can't take anymore and we need to just get away. It's okay to be human, to protect yourself, and you'll come back to being that sweet, loving, kind mediator and ambassador. That's who you are. My wife's like that. She was a middle child, and so she's always the ambassador. But there are times when she just goes crazy because she's tired. And I think that that last piece broke the camel's back. And you said, enough is enough. If these people get washed away by a flood, I won't even miss them.
Well,
I heard you, sister. I heard you.
Yeah, no, that's really good. To add to that, I think that God made our brains just so amazing, right? And I think there are also things when it's too much for us, or like we were saying before, when it doesn't quite sit with you, I think we do shut down. And I think,
fatigue,
you're right. That's what made me think of that. Our emotional fatigue. We do shut down.
Yep.
And those, I think that gives us a little bit of space to sort out what's really going on.
I hope that's helpful to you, Eve, and encouraging. And, we're going to send you a copy of Take Back Your Life, because I think that there are some really great principles in there about working your side of the street and really figuring out what is mine to deal with and what is something that I need to let go. And it can help you find some freedom. And we'll be praying for that situation. We're going to go back to the calls, and we are going to talk to Mike, who's calling us from Ventura, California, listens on the podcast, and you can too if you want to go to your app store and find us there, or actually go to where you get your podcast. I'm talking about the app. You can also download the app as well. There are so many ways to listen to New Life Live, and we just want you to know all about them. But right now, we want to know all about what you're calling for, Mike. How can we help you today?
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Well, my question centers around a move back in plan. I was discovered in an adulterous affair about a year ago. I immediately went to a weekend at Every Man's Battle, which saved me. And been doing a pretty good walk ever since. I went through the 7 pillars. I went through the Conquer series. I'm now studying the Genesis process at the Calvary Church out here in Thousand Oaks. They really have a blessing of a care ministry. And so I'm at the point now where I think my wife is going to present me with a move back in plan that she also did the Beyond Betrayal class that they offer there. And so I know she's been coached a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't feel like the guys' end of it has really coached us on that and as well as I would think. I mean, and so that's why I'm kind of asking. I kind of know what to expect on her end, but should I have anything to add, or is it pretty much I sit there and take the lumps that come and take? I mean, obviously I'm going to accept everything, but is there things that I should add? As I just need a little bit of help, and I'm a little bit anxious about this move back in plan, and what I should add to it, or if I should just sit there and be quiet.
Well, I want to say first and foremost, good for you, Mike, for doing the work. And I can tell by just the tenderness in your voice that you have found that this has been a worthwhile process for you. And while this is a big turn right now, there is help. And we'll give you some pointers, but Jill, do you want to start?
Sure, I can. So, Mike, yes, congratulations for having some staying power with this and allowing people to minister to you and being open and humble in this. Makes sense that you would be anxious, right? Because you want it to go well, and it perhaps feels like you have a lot to lose if it doesn't go well. I think first and foremost, when we're anxious, we need to take our time, right? We need to do a lot of deep breathing, and we need to take our time. And I think the first thing is to hear the proposal. What is she proposing? And I think you just need to hear it, take it in, take notes. And then I think, an approach of perhaps sitting with it, not just, anxiously kind of saying, okay, I'll do whatever, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to pray about it. And can we meet again? I think a lot of times it's good to have a two-part to this so that she knows that you're not just being impulsive. It's not just about I'll do anything to get back in the house, but that you want to, maybe run it by your guys group and really be thoughtful about it because you want to honor her in the midst of all of this.
Ron, do you have anything?
Yeah, and as you go through this process, always wear the cloak of humility.
Yeah.
Humility is a dress code that never goes out of fashion and always looks good. And what is humility? It's not thinking less of yourself. That's low self-esteem. It's thinking less about yourself and more about God and more about others. And to maintain that disposition as you walk through this, always remain humble.
Mike, I would encourage you, and we can connect you with somebody. I know you've got a great crowd around you. You two are going to need help. And what I mean by that is, what we recommend a lot of times is when you're talking about these big moves like that is you have a third party who can kind of be the coach of how this is going to work. Your wife is taking a big risk. And so that humility piece is going to be huge. And if she's been doing her own healing process, it's not going to be as lumpy as what you think it's going to be.
Right.
But there is going to be this reconnection, this transition into a new relationship that you guys have never had before, which can be so incredible. It can be so great.
Right.
And I know you've heard Jason's story at Every Man's Battle, and you know that there is hope. And so I just would encourage you as you guys move in that direction that you have outside help, and we can connect you with somebody in the area that can help you with that. And I'm going to send you. Go ahead.
No, what are you going to send him? And then
I was going to send him a copy of Jason's devotional, and I cannot think of the name of it right now.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay. Mike, I also want you to realize that your wife is really anxious too about this. Okay. So that you both are anxious, and the fact that she's, presenting something to you, she wants it to work as well.
Right.
When you guys do come back together, there is apt to be a bit of regression, meaning the anxiety will be there with you for a while. And there may be some feelings for her that, here you've done all this work and you know where you're at, but she's going to need to see you in real time and have some time to have a new experience with you before she's going to be able to fully trust you. So a lot of people get hurt by that. Like, here, I've done all this stuff, and now she doesn't even trust me.
Right.
Let her catch up to where you're at. And she's going to do that by being, by once you guys move back in together and you demonstrating how trustworthy you have become.
Well, and the thing is, in every marriage, I don't care what you're going through, there's going to be bumps, and it's not going to be related to the thing that caused you guys to separate. So that's just part of relationship. And I just want to encourage you, Mike, that as you go through this, express the anxiety that you're going to experience. Know that she's going to have some as well. But you've got a great group around you. I'm just so encouraged by the work that you've done.
Amen.
And, we're going to have an Every Man's Battle in January 9th, 2021. It will be online again because, COVID. But we just want to encourage, if you are out there and either your husband, your partner has this issue of sexual integrity, lack of sexual integrity, we can help you. We've helped thousands, literally,
Amen.
find a new life, and we can do that for you. We'll be right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We were having a little bit too much fun at the break, trying to help Jill take a selfie of us.
It was
on
not
the
pretty.
Camera.
It was
wasn't
pretty. I doubt
the
I'll be
therapist
posting
needs therapy
it.
for selfies.
I'm going to have to cut myself out.
It's just proof that we all need help from time to time. One of the ways that you can receive help is watching Steve's Going Deeper series on our YouTube channel. And we have a surprise. Ron is going to be hosting that for, you can check in tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Going Deeper. It's on our YouTube channel, New Life Ministries. And I would love for you to subscribe and follow and share it with your friends. And it's just a great way to get more wisdom because we need it. We need as much wisdom as we can get. And we go deep.
As only Ron can.
As only Ron can. Well, we're going to go deep into the calls right now, and we are going to talk to Josh, who's calling us from Tucson, Arizona, and he listens online at newlife.com. Thanks so much, Josh, for listening. And how can we help you today?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I'm calling, I'm married, and my wife is going through some depression and anxiety right now, clinically diagnosed, and it's been pretty, she's going through some heavy things with it. She's, medication hasn't been real effective, and so she's gotten to the point where we're doing ECT treatment, which is pretty heavy duty.
And let me just explain, Josh, for the audience, that's electroconvulsive treatment. It's they use electronic.
Version,
it's a newer version, and it's it's. Go ahead. I just wanted to clarify
target
that.
specific.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, pretty heavy duty treatment that she's going through.
Oh,
and
sorry. It's hard, isn't it? Because that tells me that she's really been struggling a lot for a while.
Yeah, she has been struggling, and I've kind of where I'm at with it is I want to be a support to her and continue to be a support. And I look at her depression, her anxiety as I view it as an illness. I view it as a disability. It's not her, and I try to keep that separate and support her. That's not always effective, but it does tend to help. It's not Eve that's having issues. It's that's my wife's name. It's her mental illness that's causing these things. And where I'm having trouble now is I'm trying to figure out what role does she play in her recovery. I don't I'm willing and I will continue to support her, and I'm not clear on where she needs to be involved in it. She's not real crazy about this treatment, which I do understand, and she wants to stop it. And
Josh, how many treatments has she had?
She has probably had, I would say, upwards of 30, maybe 40 treatments. This is since July. So she was doing like 3 treatments a week for a few weeks, and she tapered off, and she got better. But things have deteriorated, and she's gotten a lot worse in the last 3 weeks. And
I assume you guys are working closely with doctors?
We are, yeah.
And
she has a psychiatrist, and so we've been working with her psychiatrist, and her psychiatrist wants her to continue the treatment, and Eve's not necessarily interested in it. And my concern is we need to find an alternative if she's not going to do this. And
so, Josh, is your wife also in therapy with a psychologist?
She's in therapy with a psychologist, and her psychiatrist is the one that's been prescribing the ECT.
Right, because she definitely needs both. Do you know how many treatments the psychiatrist is saying she needs? Because usually there's
it just depends.
Okay.
Yeah, she's saying it just depends on the person, and that we kind of reduced it too quickly, and that she needs to increase it. And Eve's, I understand she's not so crazy about increasing it.
Well, and here's the other part I think is so challenging, and you hear the music, but we're going to come back, Josh, so don't worry about that. Whenever you're dealing with depression, every single person is so unique in the treatment approach. And what I always say is, as the spouse, you have to advocate. You have to help her you have to be on her team to a certain extent. But at the same time, you both have to feel good about what the process is. And you have to be able, and this is the hard part, you have to be able to have those conversations out loud with your caregivers. You have to be able to say, not so sure about this, and have a conversation. And that is so hard.
And what are the alternatives?
Right. It is so hard. And depression is a very challenging illness. It really is. But Josh, we're going to help you get some insight, and we'll be right back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, December 5th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We were talking to Josh. His wife Eve is really struggling with some severe depression. And Josh, we were just talking about that whole process of asking the right questions and finding the right help. And it can be really tricky. And I can hear in your voice that you are very fatigued in this process as well. Jill, did you want to start, or Ron, do you want to? Okay. He's going to let us go.
Okay. So Josh, you're trusting the psychiatrist and the therapist. I think, Becky, what you were starting to say about asking the questions, I think you also have to hear your wife. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what state she is. Josh, has she been suicidal?
She has.
Because
I've asked her about that. She said that, because she said some things like, maybe I should just walk out in front of traffic.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes.
So
she just wants her pain to end. Mm-hmm. So I think, it might be worth asking your doctors, explaining that you guys are fatigued and, you had hope and now you're back again and this has been a lot of treatments. What other alternatives are there? Because she was treatment resistant to medication. Has she become treatment resistant to this? Right? It's worth asking. And there are so many, we work with Dr. Amen, but there are so many brain treatment centers and different types of things that are working now for people. And, it's one of these journeys where you don't want to give up, right? And you want to continue on and looking to alternatives that could
and the question I had, Josh, you said that it worked for a little bit and then it stopped. Has she always been dealing with depression? Like, how long have you guys been married? How old are you? That kind of thing. I'm just kind of curious.
So the depression really picked up in the last year. She's been depressive since she was a child. We're in our early 30s. We've been married for a year and a half.
Okay.
So,
and what kind of support?
Once COVID hit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What kind of support do you guys have around you besides the professionals? Family, church, friends?
Yeah. So I'm in a 12-step program myself. So I have a sponsor
Great.
work with. I also see a therapist. I started seeing a therapist just to kind of take care of me.
Yeah.
It was also recommended I check out this organization called NAMI.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So I started going there, and they referred me to other resources as well. In family, family is very important.
Okay.
We haven't.
It sounds, Josh, like, and I wish I could say, well, you didn't do this or you haven't done that, but it sounds like you are checking the boxes that need to be checked. And what I would suggest, and I think, Jill, you agree with this, is that you talk to the doctors, and then you may have to look for a second opinion, not because they're wrong, but because it's not working. And one of the things that we say all the time is that, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, well, you know what that gets you. But what I want to encourage you with is that as much as you don't want to ask 10 more questions, sometimes that's what you have to do, is you have to ask one more thing over and over again, just to find out, okay, this is going to work better.
Well, yeah, because to the doctor, okay, and if this doesn't work, we've done all these treatments, we could continue doing more. And if this doesn't work, what are the alternatives? You need to know those answers.
Yes. Well, and so we're going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Bible, which I think would help. And I'm trying to put Josh, there he goes. Okay. And then we're going to talk to Larry Sonnenberg. And, there's so many people like Josh that we try to help. Isn't that the truth, Larry? And we hear from people all the time. What would you like to encourage us with today?
I don't want people to get tired of hearing testimonies, because these testimonies are why we do what we do. And it's why you support us and why we ask for your support. And so I wanted to read this one from a lady named Terry. I want you to all know how much your ministry means to me. 7 years ago, my heart was completely broken by divorce. I can't tell you how many days and nights your radio program was a comfort to me. Just to know I wasn't alone, and the reminders that God would be faithful to get me through the dark nights gave me the courage and strength to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Today, I'm finally able to believe in a future that's not doom and gloom. I've never had the pleasure of meeting y'all, but I feel like you're my dear, sweet friends. Thank you for doing what you do, and may God richly bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, just want to appeal to you, especially as we're coming up on year end. This is your chance to make a final year-end gift. We have a match. When it gets to $200,000, it won't be a match anymore, but we'll take your support no matter. And it does so much to help. We just want to keep doing what we've been doing, presenting God's truth with grace and helping you see that God wants you to live a life that's different than what you're living, and He'll make it happen.
Thank you so much, Larry.
You.
I know we do appreciate, I was saying earlier that this is Thankful Thursday, and we are so grateful to all of our Club New Life family, as well as our regular givers, and we couldn't do it without you. You are making a difference in the lives of so many people. And so on this Thursday, we're thankful. We're thankful every day, but, we're going to talk to Ann right now, who's calling from Atlanta, Georgia, and I think Terry Mack's going to have to help me click that button because it's not working for me. There you go. Hi, Ann. You're calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Listen on WNIV, and we're so glad you called. How can we help you today?
Yes. My question is regarding my husband. My husband's a veteran. To make it really short, my husband's mother was murdered when he was a little boy. He's never really gone to counseling. He's been very functional. We split up in 2013. I'm my husband's third wife, and I suspect that it had to do with his depression. He's not gone to counseling. The VA doesn't require that typically, but they give him medicine. So he's been without his medicine now for about 8 weeks, and I'm noticing that he's going into this state that's almost like an autistic person, or maybe early onset of dementia or senility. I'm not sure, but I'm just seeing this deterioration of him. And I was listening to the caller talk about ECT. And 2 years ago, my husband was hospitalized, and that was one of the things they wanted to do with him. But I asked them if there was anything else that we could do other than that, and they changed the medication that he was on. So he's been on that for 2 years now, and it seemed like it was working. But in the last 2 years, I really watch him carefully because he'll take to bed for 8-9 months at a time.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
So, Anne, you've been separated since 2013. What kind of daily
We were separated for 2 years. We were separated
Oh, you're back
for 2
together.
Yes, I'm more like his caregiver now. You know, I just can't see him. And in the middle of COVID, I don't know what would happen to him.
How are you doing?
It's just a hard place.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not doing real well.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not. I'm a counselor. I work for a domestic violence center, and I'm a counselor. We're both believers. We're both ministers. But my husband never. I don't believe he got counseling when his mother's murder occurred. He became very functional. He went to the military. He got married. He worked at his job. You know, he
compartmentalized.
Very much.
He learned to compartmentalize, right? And that's really helpful when you're in the Army, but it's not so helpful for life.
Right.
It sounds like he needs to do some trauma work. Some EMDR, I'm thinking, could be useful as part of his treatment. But if the meds were working, why did they take him off the meds? And now he's deteriorating.
Take him off.
He went off. Oh, sorry, I missed.
What happened was we had to move in the middle of everything, and so once we moved and had to give the forwarding address while we were waiting for our house to get ready and everything, they got lost, and they've just been traveling in the mail somewhere.
Okay. Because that would seem like the first thing is let's get him back on these meds and see if there's a turnaround. And then we need to add some things to his treatment plan because, you know, things have a way of catching up with us. Things that we've thought we have buried and moved beyond. If we've never dealt with, at some point in life, they're going to come back.
We are going to come back after the break, but hold on, Ann. I know that Ron wants to speak to this, but you know, it's tough when you're caring for someone who's really struggling, and you guys have had lots of trauma throughout your life, and that affects you. And even the work that you're doing, Ann, is traumatic.
Yes,
and you know that
I know. On every front, it's heavy.
Yes.
Right, exactly. But we have some word for you. We'll come right back after the break.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and so often we hear people saying, I know I need something, but I don't know what it is. Well, we've put together the perfect experience for you. It's called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. You're going to hear Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Henry Cloud, Dr. John Townsend, Sheila Walsh, and myself, Steve Arterburn.
In this online workshop, you'll participate in general sessions, then break out into groups. These groups, facilitated by licensed Christian counselors, are where true life change happens. You'll take what you've heard in the main sessions and begin to process the areas of your mind and emotions that have kept you stuck. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Please consider joining us December the 5th for Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible.
Register today to begin experiencing life in a new way. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are talking to Ann, and Ann's husband is really struggling. And, you know, Ann, I said this before we went to the break, that I think the work that you're doing is also causing a lot of trauma for you. And you probably know that already.
It's like being a first responder, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a
exactly
heavy
like
specialty.
being a first responder. But you've got it on all fronts. You get it at home, you get it at work, and then the unknown of where the medication lies. But I want to hear from Ron, and then
Sure.
we'll talk about.
I'm a military consultant, and my son is a military officer as well. He's in cyber intelligence for the Air Force, and I've been involved with this for about 30 years. And one of the real challenges of the military, God bless them, I love them, what they do, but it's a culture where you can't show weakness. It's difficult to be transparent and say, I have a mental problem or emotional problems, because that can sometimes be a little check mark on your record. And even though they tell you to be honest about it, it can halt your career. So he learned a lot of ways to repress and depress his emotions and feelings, and just has psychologically quit on certain things. How's your spiritual devotion life and your abiding with God and the strengthening of your soul? What do you do to maintain your spiritual strength?
Well, we're both believers.
Yes.
And we're actually both ministers. I have a church family. He has a church family. And now our churches are, pretty much sheltered in like a lot of others. So we do Zoom. My church family, we get together maybe once or twice a month.
Yes.
But my husband, as I was saying, he's not engaging of anyone. The only person he really ever sees is me. He doesn't really talk on the phone. He doesn't talk to the children. He has children from another marriage. They're all grown. He has children, and they're grown, and he has grandchildren, and they're grown. And we just recently had, and I was excited to have a little grandson, with my husband. And there's nothing that I've been able to do to get him to engage with them. And they're really not that, they're not reaching out that much. And I don't know if that's because of the trauma from the first marriage or what.
It can be.
I'm really the only.
And it can be all of all of those things. But here's the thing that you have to keep in front of you. He is depressed. Depression is an illness, and without treatment, it gets worse. And so that's why he's not interacting. That's why he's not going to church. He's not involved. He can't. He literally cannot. And I think one of the hard parts about depression for anybody is that we think if we just, even the person who has depression, if I just try a little more, or the person on the outside, if you will just do, and
just get out of bed,
Yeah. And it's so debilitating. What happens to the brain in depression is just, it overtakes you.
Is it a chemical imbalance?
It's everything from chemical imbalance. It can be a physical manifestation due to all kinds of things, everything from closed head injury to, just all different kinds of things, hormonal. It's just, so that's why you got to get to the core of what's happening. Now with this situation, you can see where it may have started. But but what I would suggest is, here you are today, and you mentioned, Ann, that the medication was helping, and it's the missing piece right now. And even though it's gone somewhere, I would say that you're going to have to be, since you're the only one he's talking to or engaging with, you're going to have to be that advocate to get a refill on whatever that prescription is.
Just assume it's lost in the mail and start over.
It's lost in the mail, and so we've been with the, trying to get the VA to find it. It gets shipped. It gets sent back.
No, I
get
would
a
say
new prescription.
Cancel it. Get a new batch.
Yeah.
It's not worth tracing it.
Right, because what's happening, Ann, is you're getting stuck in this process, and life keeps going on, and what I want you to do is just hear us when we say, there is a way forward, but we've got to look at things a different way. So I would just encourage you to do that. It's a tough situation. And, we appreciate your call, and we will be praying for your husband, and I want you to seek that help. Terry, I need help with the call screen. And so I think that that's just going to be the way forward. If you have a loved one that has depression, it's not a matter of just feel better.
Right.
It really isn't. And that's one of the trickiest things about depression that we hear so many times.
It depresses. It pushes you down, right?
And
it
many
limits
times,
your options.
And have you ever heard this before, where depression is like the brain's way of saying that it needs deep rest? That there's just some healing that has to take place.
Wow.
And there can be all kinds of triggers that cause the depression, but it's just one of those things that we struggle with. Okay, I'm going to ask you two, do you think we have time for another call?
It'd be quick.
Okay, we're going to do, let's go to, we're going to talk to Melissa, who's calling us from San Francisco. Melissa, we only got a couple minutes, but I wanted to get to your call. You're calling from San Francisco, and you listen on the app. Thank you so much. How can we help you?
Well, I have a daughter who has 3 little girls, ages 7, 3, and 1. She lives next door to me, so there's a lot of interaction with us. And they have a nanny who is the parent of a gay son. So she talks about gay life openly. She talks about how, sometimes boys just like boys and girls just like girls. And she says, she told me she doesn't want to say too much about the sex part of it, but she's just letting them know that, it's okay if you think that you like girls better than boys. And I don't know whether to talk to my daughter. I know if I say anything to my grandkids, they'll say something back to mom and dad. So I'm, want to respect their wishes too. My daughter and her son, my daughter and son-in-law, they both grew up with God, but they have walked away. And so I am the godly grandmother along with another grandmother, and we are the only influence for the children, for the grandkids.
Okay. All right. That's
so I just don't know what to do.
That's a good question. I have some ideas, but Jill, I always have an opinion.
I know. Do you or Ron want to go first?
My first thought, Melissa, was to have the conversation with your daughter. Like, take the subject off the table. Like, whatever the nanny's talking about, take that off the table. And if you ever had any questions about anything that a caregiver was doing, the parent is the first person that you want to talk to. And just say, I may be way off base. You may not care one thing about this, but I kind of was concerned. And your daughter knows you. So you're not going to come at it from this is the worst thing ever, and I don't think she should do this. Don't offer your opinion. All you're doing is offering the information and having a dialogue, because the parents are the ones that are hiring the nanny and manage the nanny. So that's my 2 cents on that. Joel, what do you have to say
So in other words, asking your daughter in a non-threatening way, are you aware of what the nanny is teaching your kids?
Yeah.
Right. And are you okay with it? And
right. And the fact that the nanny told you, Melissa, it's not like you are just gathering this information. She told you. So, I just think
so I just wanted to pass this along because she shared it with me, and I just wanted to make sure, you guys might be okay with this,
Right.
And I'm a little more old-fashioned. So I'm not going to interject an opinion. I'm just passing the information on.
It's a simple FYI.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, calmness. I hope that's helpful. I'm gonna send you a copy of How We Love Our Kids. And as we close this program, it's Thankful Thursday.
Yes.
Figure out what you're grateful for.
Amen.
And share that with somebody else. And maybe it's saying to somebody, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you, Jill Hubbard and Ron Archer. And I'm thankful for all of our listeners. And if you need anything, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We are there for you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.